Welcome to Survival Homestead Teaching Farm. We are here doing a homestead huddle for you today.
This is a special huddle. We might offend a few people. It's more of a rant, so to speak. The title of this one's kind of what happened to the good old days. Because we've had a lot of things going on recently that have just really, for lack of a better term, irritated and just seeing where the people are nowadays and how they treat other people. This past weekend, we're selling some of our ducks, and had a gentleman say that, he wants our ducks, and we said, "Okay, what time works best for you?" He said 1 o'clock.
We agreed upon that
We
time.
agreed upon 1 o'clock, and at 12:56, we get a message saying, "I'm going to be there sometime later. I'm stopping to eat at this restaurant," and we sent him a message back saying, "Well, we kind of have other plans going. You know, you said 1 o'clock. We're not going to be able to meet at any later." And we did not hear back from him. And an hour and a half later, sure enough, because
He shows up at
he
the
shows
door.
up
Yep.
wanting the ducks, and you know we looked at him and we said, "Sorry, we have to leave because we had other plans. You know, we're not going to be able to sell you the ducks today."
With anybody, you've got to just, respect other people's time
You know,
and show up when you're supposed to.
but
I mean, it's just rude if you don't.
yeah, and the surprising part was he was actually an older gentleman,
Yes.
which was surprising because I've kind of learned to expect it with today's generation, but not people that are my parents' age or older, because they were raised different, and to me, they were raised better. And that's sort of the entitle of what happened to the good old days is there are so many people nowadays that are so self-involved, and I hear stories of just back in my dad when my dad was growing up, and that communities would actually come together and work together, like having a hog butchering day where everyone in the community would bring their hogs and they would work together to process those hogs and get them butchered. And you never hear about that nowadays. You never hear about people working together and getting things done. Part of me is envious of the Amish,
Yeah.
and even the Amish nowadays are starting to branch away from that, but you can get so much more done if you work together on projects. And I think that's lost nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
I was blessed. Okay. I love my dad. My dad worked us hard on the farm when we were younger. And I admit, I hated it at the time. But I look back on it and I appreciate him establishing a work ethic in me and how to treat other people, um, which is lost nowadays. I look at today and look at what's going on with the children today. Um, I ended up teaching one semester of college English at a local community college. And when they hired me, I looked at them and I said, "Now, I am not going to pass students if they don't do the work and don't actually pass the class." And they said, "Okay, that's fine. We understand. We just need someone to teach English." Now, again, English was my bachelor's degree. I got a bachelor's degree in English, and um, then I've got my JD, and I'm actually a practicing attorney now. But on the side, I taught for one semester, 3 English classes. When I went in, I had students that didn't know what a noun was, that could not spell strawberry, and that bragged about being passed from their high school English class, even though they failed.
Which is really sad.
Yeah, it was. very disheartening to see how bad of an education that these college students were coming in. And I worked with them, that wanted to work, but the majority of them didn't. Some did not even
Some,
turn in a
yeah,
single assignment.
they were lazy. Just wanted to be passed.
Yeah, and they thought I was going to pass them. Well, I failed over 66% of the students in those three classes. Because I'm sorry, if you put forth the effort, I will do everything in my power to help you. Some students I actually came to the school off my hours and met with them to help them through papers and stuff. But and those students actually passed because they were trying. If you're putting forth the effort, I'll do everything in my power to help you. But when you just don't even put forth an effort, don't expect me to help you or to do all the work for you. It's not going to happen. But I see that in today's society, and especially the young generation, that they feel entitled, like they should be given everything without any effort whatsoever. And I miss the times where you had to work for things. Um, it's sad. I think that we let other people teach our younger generation when it should be as a parent,
Our
our
responsibility.
responsibilities.
Yeah.
So it's one thing that I think that we lost was when both parents started to work. Um, I don't care which parent works. I know you need to, but when you lost the parents actually raising the children, and then letting a school or a TV screen or something else take and teach your children basic stuff, we lost a lot. I truly believe that. We lost instilling values in our children and showing them how things can go. I know I have relatives that don't know how to read and write, but they know how to work a farm and do jobs, and they know basic systems. Um,
They have common
yeah,
sense.
common
Yeah.
sense, uh, and a work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, yes, they might not have went through high school, but I'd say they're just as smart, well, smarter than some of the college students that supposedly
Yes.
went through high school now.
Yeah.
Um, and they have a better work ethic, and they will.
They know hard work pays off, and they know that they need to do that to get where they want to go. Whereas today's generation, they just want it handed to them. They just want a handout, and that's all. Take it and leave. They don't want to work for it.
Since both parents started working in the workforce, now it's kind of become almost mandatory just to survive that both parents have to work just to make ends meet. Um, but and it's messed up in a lot of sense. You know, there's times where I wish that we could go back in time and just live in, the early 1900s or even 1800s. Uh,
There was community there. There were people that worked together, um, and they knew how to do things. I mean, we've become such a lazy society, and we don't know how to go back to the basics.
that's been our, I guess, goal, and our goal of this channel is to bring sort of people back to, as we're learning these past ways of doing things. And we do have modern conveniences that people,
Hundreds of years ago
or
didn't
even
have.
or
Yeah.
even 50 years ago,
Yeah.
didn't have. I'll admit, I just bought her a new KitchenAid, mixer. Well,
They
that's
didn't have that
modern.
back
They didn't
then.
have it back then, but that does make certain things on a
A lot
homestead a
easier.
lot easier. Um,
But we also know how to do those things if it comes to the point where we're not able to use these modern day conveniences.
yeah, it's learning both methods. What can we do now to make our lives easier with if we have all these conveniences, but also can we survive if we lose all those modern conveniences? Um, and that's sort of our goal. Is to become a truly self-sufficient miniature farm here. I don't like relying on anyone for my survival. Um, and I think nowadays so many people do is
Hmm.
they rely on the government for this and that. They rely on
Water from the tap. They rely on power, electricity,
grocery store,
grocery stores. Yeah.
which that's relatively new. You know, did you hear of grocery stores? 80, 100 years ago. No, not really. I
People
mean,
grew their own food. People knew how to do that,
yeah,
and they knew how to use the animals on their farm, and use the land and let those things work together to benefit the people that was living on it.
yeah, and you know that's a it's a lost. All these things have been pretty much lost in today's society. I'd say less than 1% people actually could grow their own food or survive if there was no more grocery stores.
But nowadays, people have just lost this knowledge. This knowledge is not there, and they don't want to learn. And I think that's the problem. They know the younger generations just don't want to learn.
And again, the entitlement and the
Hmm.
just poor education. I guess this video is more, like I said, of a rant and how I miss the old, how I wish I could go back necessarily to the old days. Instills values. Uh, I don't know about how many people have went to a restaurant lately, but customer service is basically dead.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I,
You don't get customer service period
no,
anymore.
no, and that's sort of our rant. Sorry if we offended anyone, or you know, oh well.
It's just a fact. It's the fact that the younger generation, most of them are this feels entitled and or that is this way. We were just shocked that when we had this incident with the guy that wanted to purchase the ducks, that he was of an older generation, older than we are, and he was acting just like the younger generation, and we were just astonished by that.
Yeah. And again, I'm not knocking all of the younger generation.
Not
Some
all of
of
them are
some of
bad.
them are great. Just overall in general nowadays, from what I've seen and from what you've seen, I
Mm-hmm.
believe
Yeah.
it's gone to crap,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So
Thank you for watching this video.
yeah, hopefully we'll be next video will be less of a rant and more of teaching instead of begging you to teach someone else. But thank you for watching and have a blessed day.
This is Survival Homestead Teaching Farm. See ya.